Hello, my name's Owen and welcome to the JOL Wedding Podcast. Join myself and my co-host Caroline as we bring you all the inspiration and advice you need whilst planning your wedding. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the JOL Wedding Podcast. Today we've kind of gone more down our street, haven't we?
You're home from home now, isn't it?
Home from home. We've got Abby from Whiteapplestudios. Hi. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you two?
We're good.
We're good.
We're saying like we haven't seen each other for ages, but we saw each other yesterday.
Yeah, you literally saw each other yesterday.
So 20 hours ago.
20 hours ago at a wedding fair.
Yeah.
But today, we are talking about photography, which is kind of our main...
My main thing.
Well, your main thing, but...
Yeah, everything we know about photography, and it's nice because we do the same job, so it's nice we get the same headaches, we get the same lovely bits and the stressy bits, and
I think it's good.
like that.
We do get a good overall vibe of everybody's jobs in the industry, don't we? Because we're there from seeing everybody setting up to seeing all the staff who work for the venues, to seeing working with makeup artists, hairdressers, you name it, we're involved with it, aren't we, really?
Definitely.
So we've got a great overview of everybody's jobs.
We see, I always say to clients, we see the good, bad and ugly.
Yeah.
Because, if we go into venues and we can see what happens going behind and everyone's running around like a headless chicken and going, oh, okay, that's maybe not so good. And we go to the other venues that you think, it is smooth sailing, everything's precision to a T. And you think, that's a good venue.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I'm sure you're doing exactly the same as me. You can pinpoint those venues that are slick as heck.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Just without even saying them out loud, we know.
Yeah.
And you know the other ones where you've gone, I wouldn't want that done at my wedding.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but then we see how things like the makeup last all day and the hair, and if the hair's falling out by the evening and things like that. So
and things that probably nobody else on the day thinks about unless you've got a wedding coordinator who's sort of paid to come in, because obviously the venue staff can't be there all day, can they?
No. Yeah, unless you've got like a wedding planner,
and they bring things like pins, tit tape. I don't know whether the scissors.
Every single wedding, you can guarantee. We had back-to-back weddings on Friday and Saturday, and both times someone got these scissors for the bridesmaid dresses because of the tags, and it's like, and that's one thing I never keep in my little kit bag, and I really need to do that, but. The hairdresser always goes, yes, but these are my scissors for hair. Please don't ruin them. Yeah. And things like that.
They've got to be sharp, didn't they?
But we always keep a back of, I've got a sewing kit. I've sewn bridesmaids into a dress before now. James has got extra pins, safety pins I've got like cooling spray as well. So when people get too hot, I've got deodorant because especially, under big dresses, brides get very, very hot.
So true. It's
when you fluff the dress out and it's just like, that air that goes up.
It's when you see him stood near some kind of heater or an aircon machine, just like, trying to get a bit of a breeze. Yeah, it's right. But it's things like, I always have I've got really expensive hair curlers and straighteners because I use them and I know they're going to last. But I have them in the car because it's inevitable at some weddings. Hair's going to drop and they've paid, a lot of money to have it curled, or the weather, the humidity makes it drop and they're going, oh, my hair. So if you've got those things like a wedding coordinator would, then you're winning. But it's those things that you learn through experience.
Yeah, and doing the job.
Yeah, if you go for a photographer who's in the very early days, they might not know those things, and it's amazing you're giving them the chance to explore photography and see if get a feel for it and see if they love it. But with the hardened professionals who've been in it a long time, these are the little things that we know. We know the timings of the day. Yeah. We know who needs to be where and when. We know the best order for people to go down. And although they might not ask us or, need that information on the day, it's there. And if anybody says, oh, what happens next, we can 9 times out of 10 go, oh, this. I think the only time that ever doesn't happen is if it's a very new venue we've never shot at before. No. And their staff work in a different dynamic than we're used to. Yeah. And even then, you've got some guide, haven't you? So you can sort of steer them down the right alley.
We've been, Friday we were at the Ashes. Amazing couple. Rained all day. Near enough all day.
It was literally someone had a light switch and they were flicking it on and off. So when they literally flicked it off, the rain, it was pelting down and it just stopped straight away. It hailed.
So it was so bizarre. But, it was a case of going like, okay, you get married at this time, so you need to be in your dress about this time, because if you're on your first look with dad, your first look for bridesmaids, this, you've got your registrar appointment. Yeah. So I'm saying, right, okay, maybe think about getting ready this way and all that time. And if you've got a corset type of dress, what takes you about 10 minutes to get that in and make sure everything's all secure, should I say? Things like that. And I'm going, right, okay, maybe, okay, that's going to about 10 minutes. And the bridesmaid, like Saturday, they had a corset dress, and she goes, I said, maybe about 10 minutes start getting in the dress, because it's going to take about 10 minutes. And she went, my God, you know your stuff. Yeah. And because she was just doing it, and she went, bang on.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And it's with corset dresses as well. You need to get the lace so it fits
beautiful.
Perfectly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just looks a big mess, and then there's a gap at the bottom. Anyway, things like that, isn't it? Yeah. The rain as well. Obviously, a lot of photographers, videographers find rain and the darkness just a huge battle. Yeah. They don't know what to do, and even at my wedding, which was a couple of weeks ago, pelted it down all day. You came in the evening. Yeah. It was snow for 2 days, so obviously everyone was worried about the roads. It was freezing, and it just pelted it down all day. And even me, who stood there in this situation, knowing we couldn't go out, it was that wet. It's not like when you have a break in the weather where you can sneak out for 5 minutes.
A summer shower, that's fine.
Yeah, or when it pelts it down for an hour, then you get half an hour of something. It isn't that. We didn't even get that, and I thought all of that about exactly what I wanted. With a limited timescale, so it wasn't boring everybody to tears. Everything I wanted, we didn't get done because the weather was just so awful. Yeah. And we were trying to pull the barn doors open for a little bit of extra light to come in. And even then, everybody's moaning because it's cold. So it's things like that. You've got to people manage in situations like that. You've got to be able to go, I know it's cold, but come on, we'll be out for 2 minutes. Let's get it done. Yeah. Let's get this out of the way and make light of it and not panic. I've seen, photographers, videographers really flapping because I don't know how to work in the dark. I don't know how to use rain to my advantage. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, it
comes with experience. Yeah. And I think when you look at a photographer, like you say, there's 2 ways of going for it. You can, when you start looking at budgets, think about, okay, how important photography is to you. Yeah. And go, okay, do I want it there just to document the little bits that I need, or is photography really important? Do you think, actually, I want my bridal prep done, I want the first look with Dad, I want my night shots, and I want my first dance. So you want the photographer there all day. Yeah, it's very different for every couple. But do you want someone that's been in this industry for quite a while, knows how it works, knows the timings, everything we've just said? Are you willing to take that chance on someone that is relatively new to the industry, just developing their style? Are you going to take a chance on that? And the price can be huge between them both. Massively. But what you can't do is go, I want this at that price, because you're never going to have that. Yeah,
it's true.
And I find we started 13 years ago, and we had amazing couples that really took the chance on us, and that is perfect. So everyone has to start somewhere, and we know that.
I started at the same time as you, so about 13, 14 years ago. So you start in the little ones, don't you? The registry offices, and then the your little town halls and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's where you start, and that's everybody's got to start somewhere. Yeah. And if you can nail it, then you're flying, aren't you? Yeah. I think it's having confidence in it as well.
And it's a really, really hard industry, to be honest. Yeah. People turn around and go, oh, I would love to have your job. It is so, so hard. Yeah. I think we clocked up about 30,000 steps over the weekend.
Staffed, isn't it?
You think I'd be thin, but I'm not.
Same. And you always get somebody coming up to you in the wedding going, oh my gosh, you don't stop working, do you? You've had a long day.
You've had a long day.
And then you say to them, and you think this is bad. You want to see when we have to go home and edit and upload, and it's hours and hours and hours and hours. And I think people just see that initial bit of time and they go, you're how much? For 10 hours. Then you go, but I'll meet with you twice, which is say 4 hours of my time, not including travel. Then we do all of our emails to and from. Then I'm with you for the day, say for 10 hours.
You say we might have a pre-shoot as well?
Yeah, we might have a pre-shoot, which is obviously then you've got the editing time for that. I'm with you for 10 hours on the day. I don't really have a break in the conventional sense of I take a step away and I do nothing. I go on my phone and I play Candy Crush, for example's sake. I don't, but I sit and then work through your break. And then I'm really keen to get everything uploaded, backed up when I get home, so I can't sleep until I've done that. And then we sit and edit the wedding. I don't know how long you guys spend on an average wedding. Mine varies, but I would say a whole wedding, they're paying me for that one day, but it's probably 40 to 45 hours of my time.
I say a wedding is about a week's work for us. Yeah, 100%. So it's about 37 hours, I would say, that you think. And you think, okay, then Put that in context. Say we limit our weddings to 40 a year.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's 40 weeks of a year. That's obviously we work.
And that's not including all the wedding fairs, meeting your couples for their pre-meetings, pre-shoots. So
yeah.
It's an
and having family time.
Having family time.
It is so hard to have that work-life balance as a photographer or videographer.
Oh, we were saying actually in previous podcasts on how this is a 24/7 industry. People will message at 11 o'clock because they just thought something's coming to their head and gone, I forgot to tell we got singing waiters. Yeah. And they go, bang, okay, I'll put, and you email at 11 o'clock at night, you are.
Yeah.
And it is really hard. But what we're trying to do is trying to give couples advice what to look for in photography, because you've just had your wedding and you've just said obviously off camera it's been really a minefield for you as a photographer looking for a photographer.
Just purely because of the communication aspect, and I can completely sympathise with how overwhelming it can be with couples who are not in the industry. And I sort of had a clue about style, price, location of where I wanted my photographer to come from. But at the same time, that I would have assumed was quite easy because I'd narrowed it down very, very, to a very select few. And yet the replies were either non-existent or very overwhelming. And it's too much. It's too much when you're working, you've got a family, you've got to run your life as normal, haven't you?
Yeah.
And then you're trying to wedding plan, and when somebody's constantly hammering you or doesn't get back to you, so you're left in the lurch a bit going, well, are you free? What is your price? I had one supplier who sent me an email, generic template, they'd got the venue wrong in it, and they'd put the price in two completely different prices. Couple of £100 in between, so it's not like it was huge, but at the same time that would have made my decision. Anyway, didn't reply to my emails after that, and I was very careful to not make out that I'm a wedding photographer because I thought that might be quite overwhelming. I thought once they've replied a couple of times I will say, look, this is the situation, just in case you Google me, because I'm a social media a bit of a stalker. Like if you Google me and I come up, that is me. Like I'm not playing silly buggers. I'm not touting for prices so I can compare mine against yours. This is a genuine request.
I would like you to think about shooting my wedding.
Exactly. But when you're getting like this varied lack of replying or too much communication, hammering you, and then like just not proofreading your emails and your replies to people, I can understand why it's overwhelming. I think it's great if clients commit. I never really believed in wedding fairs before. I don't know about you guys. I never thought I needed to be doing them. I didn't think it was going to be really very beneficial, because if a client likes me, they like me. They don't need to come and, stand there and see some extra stuff and in a venue. But actually, I think I found the quality of that time that you have when you meet a client in that situation, and they can ask you questions. They can ask silly questions like, do you know what happens in XYZ spot over there? Or do you know what time they do this? And you can tell them. And then you can also talk about other suppliers. And I found that it's a great booking process.
I think we love wedding fairs. I think when you look around Shropshire, we go to quite a few. We're very lucky because we actually get invited to a lot. Like you said, we get invited to these wedding fairs. It's not the case that
from the venue
we're very,
themselves,
greedy and we just go to everyone. It's not that.
Absolutely.
We were at Netley Hall yesterday. We're personally invited by Netley Hall. Hawkeston Hall, we get invited by them, and it's so lovely that we do that. But I think for couples going around freshly planning, we spoke to obviously loads yesterday. They were going around going, they either haven't got a date set and they're just looking, and then which is fantastic, because that's where you get a really good idea of what a wedding would consist of.
Absolutely.
But you get to meet the people behind them, because I think when you start, and it's like with anything, isn't it? You start thinking, right, okay, I'm going to look for a photographer. Okay, instantly start online. Okay, whether it's social media, Instagram, it could be websites. So type in Google wedding photographers, Shropshire. Okay,
Here's
and
a
you
huge,
start
overwhelming list.
Oh my God! There's page after page after page after page after page, and
immediately they
but then
click
straight
on
away,
the first 5.
But then straight away, they're the ones that add. So those are the photographers that have paid personally to go to top of Google. That's not there by ranking; it is there because they've paid. And it's a minefield. So you're thinking, right, okay, I want a photographer. what style of photography do I like?
Yeah.
Okay, and there is so many styles. You've got reportage, you've got documentary, you've got we're very creative flash-wise. I would say we're mixed between documentary and relaxed pose. I always say it's relaxed pose. You're very relaxed posed, but again, you love your documentary and things like that.
But I'd also say you guys are very true to life tones, colour tones, which I would say probably 75 to 80% of clients want now. So I'm a bit more airy fairy, more neutral tone. Well, I tone down things. So your greys aren't as dark grey, your blues aren't as dark blue. So I always say to my clients now, if you're looking for somebody who's very true to life, I always say you guys, Georgina, because that's
we have we have very different styles, and this is why having you come in today is fantastic, because obviously we'll have links to your galleries and things like that. Go and check her out, she's absolutely amazing, but we are very different, and I think that's good, because like I say, we're very natural. If you're getting married in summer, your greens are green. You get married in autumn, your orange are orange. You have a very different style for your editing and for your shooting. And I think with couples, when you start looking at your style of photographer, have a look through a range of styles.
100%, I always
because
say.
you can get a good feel, and you're instantly drawn to those styles, especially on Instagram, because Instagram's very pictorial, so you can look and there's so many different styles of photographers, and you get an idea then of what you quite like, and then you start researching those styles on the internet.
Absolutely.
And again, when you start looking at you start thinking, like, that's the style of photography I like, and start then contacting the photographer and get a feel for them. Yeah. Because like you said, if you've got your contacting a photographer, you think, oh, I quite like that style of photography, and they don't get back to you. Yeah. Instantly you think, can I trust them?
Are they going to be flaky on the day? Are they going to,
what about after, can I contact them after, or can I contact them before, because I've got a question to ask, and they're taking 2-3 weeks to get back to you. Yeah. Or like you say, you've got one photographer that you've contacted them and you go, just want a price, blah, 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 and they're bang, 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 every opportunity, send you an email, send you a text, everything like that, and that's too overwhelming. Yeah. But then obviously you got to think about your coverage for your day. So when we were talking to clients yesterday, it's think about how long you want your photographer there. Do you want those bridal prep captured? Do you want your first dance or your boogie on the dance floor captured? Some people want the bridal prep, some people don't want the bridal prep. And
some of them want late coverage in the evening, don't they? The couple who came to me yesterday said, my family are real party animals, like, can you stay a bit later in the evening? And I was like, well, your options with that are you have a little bit less coverage in the morning, more in the evening, or you add extra hours on. But you're saying, they want just such different things, don't they? So I think you need to have a step back and go, what bits are really important to me?
Yes, yeah. And I think then, like say, some photographers do half day and some do full day, like we do. Yeah. We do offer for half day for smaller intimate weddings. I love them just as much as the big days where we're out 13-14 hours shooting. Yeah. It's a bit more, it could be sometimes a bit more personal. There's all different very, very reasons why people go for a shorter day.
Absolutely.
But I think after COVID, a lot, obviously we shot half days because we couldn't do full days and things like that.
They were brilliant though. I think, I know I was saying to you obviously before we started filming, but I did a very small wedding last month and I just absolutely loved it because it was so relaxed. They had 7 at the ceremony. Oh wow. And they went to the Crown at Works, and they just set up this room, and it was just beautiful, and it was just so them. The whole thing was them. They didn't spend £1,000 on dresses and suits and stuff like that. It was just completely them.
I've had something quite similar. Yeah. They're from Shropshire, but they went up to the Lake District, so I went up there to film their wedding, and there's only 12 of them. There's literally just 12 of them, including the bride and groom. They had a boat ride across
Lake Windermere,
and it was amazing. It was really nice to be a part of.
Yeah. I wasn't part of that. I knew that. Where you were?
Yeah,
it says. Yeah. We got married in Vegas, and just the two of us. I thought, oh, am I going to miss the bridal prep? Am I going to regret not having my stepdad, my mum, my grandparents, Danny's parents there? And actually, I found the process of over here, the bit when we did over here, because we still had a blessing and everything, I found the bridal prep and I found the lead up to it with everybody being around incredibly stressful. Mm-hmm. But I think that's because I had so much elements of control over all of it, because so much of it I did by myself. So I think I was overthinking things. I think if you've got a venue where everything's done for you, you could probably actually really chill beautifully. But I just couldn't. I was just so in it and so overwhelmed. The Vegas bit was so calm and chilled. Danny went down to the sports bar. The World Cup was on at the time. He went downstairs to the sports bar and he watched a couple of hours of football. I had a bath, I dyed my hair, did my roots, did my hair and makeup, got my dress on, and then I set the camera up just to film him when he came in and saw me for the first time. And it was beautiful. It was just such a lovely moment and a lovely day. And yes, I was nervous, and I still got all those feelings that I see my couples go through before they get married, which I was really not anticipating. I thought, nobody else is with me. There's been no bridal prep. There's been none of this. Yeah. It's not going to feel like a real wedding. It felt more like a real wedding than I could have possibly imagined. It was brilliant. Everyone's watching at home, live streaming us. The UK bit, I loved it. The ceremony was incredible. It was still that. It still felt very real, even though it wasn't a legal ceremony. Yeah. It was incredible. But if I could say anything to couples, if you're the kind of person who likes a lot of control over things and gets quite anxious, maybe going to a smaller wedding would really do you the world of good, and just having a party at home. It's one of them. If I think you know as a couple what you want, and I think a lot of couples are told, oh, Auntie Sue wants us to have so and so at the wedding, and it goes from them wanting 30 at a wedding to 120. Yeah. And a lot of the elements of that wedding become not about that couple.
No.
So it's going back to photography. I think it needs to be more about you than about anything else as a couple. Yeah. And if you really think to yourselves, I don't want a photographer there 14 hours of that day, then fair enough, just get the key bits, because I don't care what anyone says. Every single couple I have ever shot, ever worked with, from 13, 14 years ago to this day, the second they get home after that wedding, the first thing they do, because you get this weird little wedding blues, I don't know whether you had it, you start scrolling to seeing what people have posted, seeing what you've got on your phone. And if you know that somebody's going to be coming to you in 6 to 8 weeks, or however long it takes for your photographer, videographer to edit, you've got something then to look back on. It's priceless. You might not watch your video every 5 minutes. And a lot of couples will say to me, oh, we had a videographer, but we only watched it once every year. That's still once a year you sit back. If you watch that once a year for 10 years, I'm not being funny, if you've paid £1,500 for that photographer, that videographer, it's paid itself back. And just being able to look at people's faces, how they looked at you, how you looked at them, how you laughed, how you moved, how your kids were at that age, anything like that, it's just completely priceless. So some people say, oh, we're thinking about not having a photographer, we're thinking about not having a videographer. Whatever your budget is, get something. 100% get something. But if that's really important to you, you need to nail who you're picking so that you know you're getting those important moments.
We've said repeatedly on this podcast that relationships are very, very key to us. So obviously when we start at wedding fairs, we're not really also selling just the photos and our work. No. We're kind of selling ourselves as people. So a lot, I mean, we did one wedding fair at Hawkston Hall not so long ago. And this couple booked us, and they've said they spoke to us, and I think Dad said to them that if you don't like your photographer,
you're going to hate your photos.
You're not going to like your photos. So if you don't have that relationship, you're just going to remember how. I mean, they're a bit of a stupid person when they did this or that.
Yeah, how they made you feel. They made me feel so uncomfortable by putting me in that pose because they didn't get us. You know, we have to look lovey-dovey. We're not lovey-dovey.
So she went off, spoke to some other photographers there, and she came back to us.
Did some research and everything like that. Met with other photographers.
Met with other photographers. She came back to us on a wedding meeting, booked us, and they said that what you said to me is stuck with me throughout the whole thing. And they booked us because of who we are rather than just the photos as well.
I think that everything's a combination. And I think when you look online and you're Googling and you're finding styles that you like, and then trying to find the photographer and meet with some, like we have meetings, we invite people around to our studio, and we always say, you know, if you go away, think about it. If you need meet other photographers, that's fine, because we might not be the right fit for you. Or actually, you might not be the right fit for us, because, like you say, if they want a whole day of complete documentary that's nothing's posed, that's not us. That's not us.
Same. There needs to be an element of it, doesn't there? So.
There always has to be, especially for family shots, unless some couples go, actually, I don't want the family shots. I don't want that. But I think, again, in 13 years, I've never, ever had one wedding that's gone, I don't want any family shots.
No, I don't know whether you found it, but I've had some who've said, oh, we don't want many family shots. We don't want to take the time away. Then on the day they go,
This
could
person.
we just have Auntie Sue, Grandma, because we want a 4-generation photo.
Yeah.
Oh, whilst we're here, can we get all the brothers and sisters and da-da-da-da-da. Then all the stag party, then all the hen party.
Yeah.
And I always send, like I do a list with them. I
We
go
do
through
that.
what they're thinking, anything out of the ordinary. I go, this is what I standardly do in my head. It's a 20-minute job.
Yep.
I tick through it, and that's how it works. Yes, it's 20 minutes of you going, I'd rather be inside having a gin, and I'd rather be, chatting to my uncle who I haven't seen for 3 months, and this, that, and the other. But it's 20 minutes of your whole day. Yeah. And I think, I'm sure you're very similar to me. My tagline is, I aim to add to your day, not to take away from it.
Yeah.
And I'm very conscious when I can see my couples thinking, I've had enough now.
We know
when you're bored. So we'll just go, hey, should we go back and get a drink then? And you can go see your guests, and you can see them go, oh yeah, thank God. And I do everything. I do everything so quickly, so I try not to get to that point. But there's some couples who were clearly thinking, this ain't for me. Can we go?
We know. We went to one venue a couple of years back, and we were talking to the wedding planner there, that sort of runs the day, and she goes, we had a bride a couple of days before, and they had one photography company, amazing photography company. We know them. We know of them, shall I say, and they had them out literally all day taking photos. And the girl turned and said to the bride, do you want just 10 minutes just by yourselves and go and see your guests? And she went, no, I've paid for this photographer and that is what I want.
Okay.
And she's gone, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it is very much more like a fashion shoot than a photography shoot.
Oh yeah, they're probably one of the best videography companies in the world.
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
they are
probably
amazing.
know you on about then. Yeah. So I think if you've picked
you've picked that photographer because you want that. Yes, and I think this is the main thing, isn't it? We are very, like I say, when you go to wedding fairs, it's a good idea. You get to meet the person behind the brand. Yeah. You get to see whole galleries, because I know, it is with anything. If you will only put your best work online on social media. You would. You're not going to put some photos that you think, we've taken some photos and gone, and it's gone completely wrong, but the results were absolutely amazing. I love that.
Or funny.
Or
emotive in a way that you weren't expecting. Or you
completely.
think, why are they pulling that face? And it makes you chuckle or something.
Yes.
Or you've accidentally caught somebody in the background shoving something in their face. Yeah.
If you find it
galleries.
funny, other people will find it funny.
Full galleries. And I think you don't necessarily get that on people's websites.
You don't. I always send.
We have. Yeah. We've got a real wedding, so you can log on to. I'm just updating some new ones on there. So go check them out. But I think we're going to go. I think there's about 8 on there now, and they're full galleries. Yeah. Near enough.
I literally send a link that says it's just my website /clients. You can click on that. Everything that's published and public. A lot of, I'm sure you've had the same.
We can't obviously GDPR.
Teachers, kids who are
in care.
Kids who are in care, things like that. Some galleries you cannot have.
Yeah, GDPR we can't. Obviously, we have to get our client's permission.
Absolutely.
But you get a good idea of what a whole wedding looks like from start to finish.
I always say you need to look at the photos from bridal prep all the way through to the evening. Yeah. Some photographers can nail the couple shots. They look phenomenal. They're standout. They're wall printing. You see it on a wall. You see it on a billboard. But when you look at their work from bridal prep, ceremony, when they can't work out how to shoot in a church, and then your evening shots and they've got no idea how to work in the dark. Yeah. Okay, so you love that person's couple shots, but you're now seeing all of it. Whereas some people will book a photographer based on, I've seen one shot, I love your work. You really need to look at a whole gallery. And and I add this, if a photographer isn't willing to send you a full gallery, why?
So it's really important obviously to see whole galleries of weddings, like you just said. So like you say, when couples look at photographers and they go, they're amazing couple shots. Yeah. Can they get a whole group of 80 people together out for a group shot very, very quickly? Because it's like, you see, right, can everyone out for a group shot? Some people go out, some people hit the bar.
Yeah, somebody runs for a wee, somebody's gone to go and get something out of the car.
Yeah, or check in.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, isn't it? I think you've got to be a certain kind of person to feel comfortable in those situations. Yes. You meet loads of different photographers who do wildlife, sports, what have you, and they always say, oh gosh, I couldn't be a wedding photographer. No. And I think once you've been doing it long enough, it's completely
I've worked with a couple of photographers who have done wildlife and sports, and they come to a wedding, and it is completely different. It is completely, like, I've worked with them, and I'm not gonna lie, they didn't really know what to do, where to go with the couple,
what happens,
So they were kind of just winging it. So I was like, I've got the experience of that. So I'll kind of lead the day, which I'm not used to doing at all with as a videographer. I like to work around the photographer, and then if I need anything, I'll nip in and get something.
Absolutely, yeah.
But no, I kind of ran the whole day because they just didn't know what to do because they didn't have that experience. So when we go back to your budget, when you are looking for a photographer, get someone who has that experience, because that is what you're paying for.
Yeah, and I know. Obviously, speaking to people at Wen fairs, and they go, "Oh, got a photographer sorted, fantastic." And also, who have you got? And they go, "I've got a family friend." And you go, "That's fine, but this is what you've got to think about." Yeah. Okay, can they organise 80 guests to get out? Can they quickly organise family shots? Because if that is not done efficiently, that can take over an hour.
And it can ruin your day. It can ruin the timeline of your day.
Completely. And then, because you know full well, you get married, say, at 1, you're sitting down at 3:30 to get for food. And you've only got a small amount of time, and people want to see their guests and go and have a drink and eat the canapes and really just chill out and enjoy those hours. Yeah. And if you've got someone that can't organise people efficiently, it is really, really, really hard. Now, my hat goes off to you, especially because you shoot sometimes just you.
The majority of the time, it's me. Yeah.
So obviously there's me and James, there's just you. And normally sometimes if I know that we're in a venue where easily guests can wander off in different directions, and I might be the one that's just quickly going to nip into the bar to say, "Hiya, can I have Aunt so-and-so and Uncle so-and-so or whatever? Can I have, uni friends and things?" And for you, you're going to, is it best man or something? I'm
pretty good at doing it by myself.
Are you?
I think because I've just done it, I'm quite an independent person in all aspects. For example, I found it really difficult living with a man, my husband now, who wants to do things, cook, clean. I found that really hard because my entire adult life, I moved out when I was 17, I've cooked, clean, looked after the kids, worked full time. So suddenly having somebody going, "Oh, I can do that," or just doing it straight away, I'm like, how do I cope with this? So it's the same at work. I'm so used to doing everything by myself that I find it really just second nature. Yeah. And you might see me laughing and joking and huffing and puffing about it a little bit when I'm running to and fro to get everybody in. But it's just, I know, you know the timeline, you know what you've got to do. I'm very conscious of the venue wants to show them the room when it's all set up at say 3:05. They need to be seated for 3:10. They need to then come in at 3:15. Speeches start at 20:00. Food has got to be out at 4. Yeah. So in my brain, I'm going, I don't want to upset chef because that's the last person you want to upset.
This is it, because Friday's wedding, they had a choice menu. So when couples are planning, you're thinking, do I have a choice menu or do I have a set menu? Yeah. If you have a choice menu, you know that you need to be sitting down a little bit earlier because 100%. you've got a choice. People have got a choice, and they've got to know how many to dish out. When it's a set menu, near enough, all your starters are all done, ready to go as soon as they sat down. The speeches are finished, or if speeches are after, whatever.
Absolutely.
But going back to galleries, it is really important to see a wedding from start to finish, and not just one gallery. No, lots of galleries, because. Sometimes if you've got a day that is just absolutely perfect, couple are amazing, and you've got a fantastic gallery, that's what some photographers will just show. They won't show a broad range, so different venues, different times of year.
Yeah, different weather scenarios, different types of couples.
Different couples.
I think you want to try and see yourself in somebody's photos. Yes. It's going to be completely different because it's different venue, different time of year, whatever, different dress, different hair, different whatever. Yeah. But you need to be able to see yourself in those scenarios a little bit as well, so you can sort of imagine yourself. Like some of your standout shots, I'm sure couples see those and go, "Oh, I'd love that of me." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you need to be able to go, "Oh, I'd love that of me," but also I'd love to see how my venue might look at that time of year. So if you can, I don't know whether you do it, I do. I send over galleries that are at their venue if I've shot there, which 90% I have. And then I'll go, I haven't actually shot at your venue in June, but I have shot at this venue, which is similar, this venue, which is similar, and this venue, which is similar. Here's 8 galleries, 4 from your venue from various times of year and 4 from the same time of year, roughly around the same date from recent last 2 years, for example's sake. And I think then they can see the tones of the trees and the the weather and this, that and the other, and then you can go, actually I quite like that, or maybe I don't like that, and then they can go, I'd much prefer to have, for example, say very true to life tones, or I'd much prefer to have more documentary where there's no group shots or there's no what else would you have from documentary? I feel like documentary, they somehow, I'd love to learn how to do it more. They get really like in people's faces and they get some hilarious shots, don't they?
Yeah,
like,
we were saying about how we shoot, like what for photographers. Again, maybe this is thinking of couples. What cameras we tend to use, like you're Nikon, we're Canon, we're probably quite rivals in Canon shooters and but like say for us, we have prime lenses, so they're fixed, so wherever you stand, you've got the same focal length.
You can't. So basically, you can't zoom in.
You can't zoom in. You can't zoom in. I love my 70-200, which means I can go and pick people off, and I can be behind a person. No one's even going to know, and I can pick people off, and I love that because people are so unaware that I am there.
Yeah.
Natural reactions, and I love it. Where a prime, you can't do that. You've got to be very close.
So if you've got a 35, which is incredible for portraits, 35mm lens, great for portraits.
So that's quite a wide.
Still quite wide, lens, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you can get a really nice element of like, your blurred background, putting it in simple terms. But if you're stood next to a table of people with a 35, they can see you. If you're stood at the back of the room, these two over here are having a real laugh and a joke about something. They've got no idea anybody's watching them, and you get them properly like belly chuckling, and they might not, initially love that photo because they're really laughing, but everybody else will go, oh, look how much they're enjoying themselves. And often there's a lot of emotion from photos and video that you at the time you probably wouldn't notice, but it's just everybody getting on with it, isn't it? So if you can shoot back, but people who are documentary, you can get right into people's faces and get hilarious photos, and they haven't been posed. Kids are great, aren't they?
Love
kids come up to you. I had one the other day who kept on coming up to me and throwing confetti right in my face as I'm doing the big group shot, and it made it quite funny, to be honest. So it's little things like that. You've got to know how to use that to advantage, and also what the job you're doing, and joke around with it, haven't you? So
and again, that's another thing, isn't it? For couples have got to like us. But they've got to think that, will my family get on with them as well? We had amazing wedding on Saturday, and this one gentleman turned around, he goes, I've had such a good laugh with you two today. It was during the wedding breakfast, and he goes, don't ever change, because you've just been absolutely amazing, and we like to have a laugh and a joke because we put people at ease. And like I say, when you're trying to get people, we have this little saying that when you got a group shot, all standing there, and someone's just standing there in the background with a pint, and you got to know how to tell them to clear off, but in a way that's not offending. So we go, you're lovely, you're gorgeous, can you bugger off over there? And they go, all right then. Rather than going, excuse me, you're in my shot, can you move over there?
Exactly.
Instantly that will get their back up.
Oh, absolutely.
But you make it so light-hearted and such having a laugh. It's
got to be fun, hasn't it?
It's got to be fun. It's got to be fun.
It's a happy day, isn't it? It's a happy day already. That's why it's probably the best job we can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really light-hearted, but trying to get everything done very, very quickly. It is an art form.
It is an art form.
And it's something with the new photographers, they've got to learn. And if you are taking a chance on a family friend, then it's that maybe can suffer.
I would say in that situation, say if you've got a family friend who said, I'll do it for you, I'd love to do it for you, I'll save you some money, but they've not shot a wedding before, or maybe they've done a few hours at one, maybe try and find a happy medium with that. Have a professional photographer to do your ceremony, your group shots afterwards.
Yes.
Then you've got that nailed, and I might have spent, say £500, £600, £700, but I know I've got this. I know I've got it. Yeah. And then your family friend later on has got the gift of, they know the people at the wedding. So maybe, because I don't know if you find it, but sometimes but guests will be quite reluctant to come near you. But the minute somebody gets their phone out, they're like, hey. So there is that side of it. But this is why if you endear yourself to the whole group during the group shots, then they'll be more willing to, smile at you or just pretend you're not there and stuff like that. With our photographer for our wedding, I worked with him last year in December, and I loved working with him because he was completely on my vibe. We were just silly. I swear, I'm a bit of a pirate. I swear, I make jokes out of things all day. I say things that are slightly close to the grain if I know that person's going to take it. Yeah. I think we all do, don't we? Because it's fun when you can have banter with people and enjoy your day. I know when to be serious, though. Don't get me wrong. Some weddings I'll be serious all day. Other weddings, you can be joking and playful all day. But he was that right level. And I thought, this is exactly how I work, and I know that you're going to get on with my friends and family.
Yeah.
Like my stepdaughter, I know what she's like as a person, and I wanted her to enjoy it. I didn't want her stood around doing this, and I thought she would love Sam. She will enjoy Sam's company, and everybody enjoyed their company because they were so professional. But also, you know, they were fun to be around at the time when it needed to be.
I think this is the thing. Obviously, read reviews again.
Yeah.
We've just
Reviews
had another one.
are the massive.
Yeah, I think
Massive part of it.
Yeah, and like we've got I don't know how many hundreds of reviews on our Facebook and on our Google and things like that. Just read what people have said about your photographer as well.
Yeah.
If pages haven't got their review tab on there,
I will say, do you know what?
is that
I had to take mine off my Facebook. And I'll tell you why. I'm terrible at social media anyway, to start with. I had a bride that left a review, and the review was, she's lovely, we loved our photos, but then said, the photo of my dress hanging up, it was slightly on the squonk.
okay?
But the reason behind the dress being on the squonk was because her husband-to-be was coming through the door. I could see him through the glass doors coming into the venue to where I had to be. And I thought, oh my God.
Quick shoot.
And I'd had to get on a chair to hang it up to where it was. So I was very conscious of, I've got to get back on the chair, get that dress and get out of here. So to me, I didn't realise that to that client, that dress shot was going to be so important. And I'll be honest, I was really sad about it for days. And I thought, what do I do about this? And I thought, you know what? I don't want another client being put off by somebody saying that the dress was on the squonk.
Yeah.
You know, there was other elements at the time where, you know, we all have days when we can't communicate as effectively as we do.
Yeah.
And particularly during 2021, 2022, and still maybe to a little bit degree this year, we're all still catching up with a lot of things from COVID. We're still working at full / higher than the normal capacity. And sometimes we don't reply quick enough. But I put 130 million% into my upcoming clients, and I tried to deliver beyond time, and I try to be amazing. Sometimes we are all going to let a little bit of, I don't know where I can say it, but let the bollock drop slightly. And I don't want any of my couples to think, oh, she didn't take a dress photo properly, therefore she's going to ruin my life.
Yeah. I think that everything you've got to take with a little bit of pinch of salt and some things like that. Yeah. That's
search. I think if you can search for your clients, your photographer or any supplier from a wedding on Facebook or Google, and anything comes up in like some of these scam groups, then do you know what? Be careful, because a lot of people are attracted to. I had a wedding client who I can't do their date because I'm already booked, and she messaged saying, do you recommend anybody else? I've seen this person, and it was something like for £1,500 was full venue decor, you know, these arches, table decor, chair covers, and a full day of photography, and something else. Oh, a photo booth. I'm sure there's something else. £1,500. It might have been. It might have been. And I said, that looks really attractive as an offer. I said, but you're asking me if I recommend them. I've been in this industry 14 years in this area. I've never heard of her. That's not to say that she's not amazing. And I can see that they're at other venues doing wedding fest, so maybe they are amazing, but I don't want to say yes, and you take, because you've known me for 20, 30 years, and you say, okay, fair enough, I'll book them because I'm saying yes or not. I was like, you need to go and make your own sort of decisions around that. So I said, look through reviews, go on Google, search in the search tab on Facebook for things like that, and just see if anything comes up. Reviews are so important.
But we're so lucky in Shropshire. We've got, especially in Shrewsbury, we've got a very close-knit of photographers around here that we support each other so well.
It's ace,
that
isn't it?
if we turn around and go, actually, got a lovely client, we're booked for those days, I will quite happily recommend other photographers that I know and trust. Even if they turn around, even if I'm not booked, and they go, actually, I like this, and I'll go, that's not us, have you look at this. And then we can then direct them in a way that hopefully they'll get someone amazing and we know and trust. As well. It's not, we're not selling obviously other people, we're just saying have a look, because we know them, we know how they work, we trust them, they've been in the industry this long. I think that speaks volumes as well.
I think so.
Recommendations are huge, especially, you know, we've had you're probably the same. We've done a wedding of one couple, best man from that has now booked us to we did his
absolutely.
wedding, and
Absolutely.
then other guests have booked us to do their wedding, because they've seen us firsthand of what we do on a wedding
on the day, which is amazing,
which is and see how hard we work. They've seen the final product,
absolutely.
and go, they know us, they've met us, and then go, actually that's brilliant. But then saying that, some people turn around and go, oh no, I can't use them because Julia Markey used them.
There is
so
that.
I can't have the same photographer as them, which that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine.
Word of mouth is so key, isn't it? I think that is
so
key.
Yeah.
And if a venue tells you we recommend so and so, and this is why, maybe listen to them as well.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing with couples is they always ask you, will you come and do a walk around our venue with us?
Yeah.
Will you come and mix at your venue? If a photographer says downright absolutely no way, then ask why. And if it's because of a time thing, then okay, fair enough.
If they're travelling 3 hours,
fair enough, absolutely fair enough. But once you've been in it long enough, you can go to any venue. I'm pretty sure now, if us three sat here got an emergency text now, or WhatsApp or whatever, saying there's a wedding going on at, let's pick somewhere, the Valley in Ironbridge, photographers and videographer haven't turned up, I, without a shadow of a doubt, know that us and people that we know in that group could pick up our kit now without having meeting that couple, without knowing any of the suppliers. By just knowing the ceremony time and the sit-down time for the meal, we could go and shoot that now.
Yeah, completely.
All of us could just pick up and go.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is amazing.
Yes.
Do you think you could trust your suppliers enough to do that? That's what I would say. Have you seen enough galleries to go, actually, I think they'd be all right? If the weather changed like that, because lighting changes every 10 to 15 minutes.
This is it. We always turn around to people, go, you're quite good at your job. And I'll go, it's not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
And they'll go, and they start laughing at it. And it's like, but again, we go to, obviously, venues quite often, the same venues quite often. But when a client comes, I'm getting married here, and we've never been there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my
It's
God,
the best
please,
thing.
please.
Best
Just
thing ever.
because, don't be put off if your photographer's never been there, because
definitely not.
go there with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
If you've got a venue that always have the same photographers, we always have a bit of a laugh. It's like a Scooby-Doo movie. When Scooby-Doo's running down the corridor, you got clock plant door, and it's just clock. And some photographers will do that exactly the same every single wedding they have at that venue, and it's just. It's so boring. It's so boring for the client, and I don't know how a photographer would. That'd be brain numbing for me. I like to go to new venues. Like we were at the Ashes in Leek on Friday, and never been there. We didn't do the pre-shoot there.
No.
Because it's about an hour and a half for us. Couple, again, it's about the same distance for them. So we said, I'm not going to travel an hour and a half. We're trying to be green, our eco footprint. I'm not going to travel an hour and a half for an hour's shoot. It really doesn't matter.
Well, it's 5-6 hours of your day, isn't it?
So we could go and shoot there, not having seen it, and we put 100%. Our own spin on it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that is what it's. And again, like you say, we could have gone there on a pre-shoot. Glorious day, really, really nice and sunny.
So true,
and on the wedding day, it can lash it down and. Everything we have planned, can't do because we can't do it because it's raining outside.
Absolutely. I think we always get to a venue, a little bit early, or find a point during bridal prep where we disappear to go and do the room shots, don't we? We'll just say, just popping out to go and get your ceremony set up, and you disappear. You go and have a quick run round. You go and look at things. You go, that'd work. You don't need to go there for a day. No. We're all just. Once you've been doing it long enough, you know exactly what to do, and you can spot things, and you know the time of day. Don't know about you guys. I have it on my watch so I can see what time sunset is every day, so I know when golden hour is coming. It's just intuitive, isn't it? It becomes intuitive.
I mean, we can look at the sky now and turn around and go, actually, if those clouds come over, that'd be a perfect shot for this.
Or it's going to pelt it down, so I'm going to get you inside because I don't want you to get your hair wet. Or we've got 10 umbrellas in the car so you guys don't get wet walking from point A to point B before the ceremony because you've just spent hundreds of pounds on hair and makeup. Yeah. So it's all those little things, isn't it? So I would say it is a minefield for people picking, but if you can go and chat to somebody at a wedding fair, amazing. Or ask them to meet you for a meeting.
We do that. Yeah, we're getting invite him here. If we had a couple we met the other month, he was over in San Francisco and she was down in London. Yeah, and we did a Zoom.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm just annoyed that Zoom only has it for
35
minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah, and you think, okay, we'll say goodbye. We'll just do another one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or FaceTime or something like that, and just really, really get to know them as well. And again, we're never ever pushy. We never turn around and do that hard sell. If they come and see us, fantastic. Come and have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or something like that. Have a chat, and we never say, right, do you want to book?
Yeah.
Just go away, think about it.
When are you booking up? I would say as well, it'd probably be the same. We're never offended when you don't go for us.
No,
never offended.
No.
The only time we would be offended is if you ghost us.
Yeah.
If we've gone to the time of spending a couple of hours getting to know you at a wedding fair and then meeting you for a meeting or going on a Zoom or taking time out of family time because you can't work, let's say lots of couples work normal 9 to 5, don't they?
Yeah.
We don't. We just don't. And if they say we can only talk at 7 on a Thursday, we'll go, all right, we'll make time to talk to you at 7 on a Thursday. If you then we don't hear back from you and we're going, hello.
Hello, we're here.
Did you?
No, there's no one here. Don't worry,
tell
we're here.
Just tell us.
We're just exciting the dog now.
Yeah, the
if
dog's
anyone's
like,
watching,
woo!
you can see Dennis going, oh, no,
Who's
someone's
it?
here.
Who's
No one's here.
No one's here, darling.
But it wouldn't make me... I'd just go, brilliant, I'm so glad you found your perfect person. I think people think I'm joking when I say that.
No,
if I
I'm never
know
offended.
that... Exactly. If I know that a couple's gone and booked you guys, I'm like, I'm so chuffed because you found who... If sometimes you have to put it as simply as, they're not my couple.
Yes.
Like, I loved them, I got on with them, or I loved Elements, I'd love to have shot their wedding, but they're not my couple.
No.
So if you see somebody posting in a Facebook group or something and they're like, do you recommend a photographer? And 100 photographers are tagged, for example,
yes,
a bit broad,
yeah.
but it happens, doesn't it?
Always does.
Some people will be like, did you see they've gone and booked so-and-so out of all these people? And it's like, yeah, because that's their photographer and that's their client.
Yeah.
They were never yours to begin with.
No,
Yeah.
You just have to go.
That is your husband to be, and that is your wife.
That's all that matters.
That is honestly all that matters. It's like wedding fairs. They'll walk past and I'm standing there going, and they'll walk past and very, very loudly they go, yes, darling, we've got our photographer, haven't we? And I'm like, that's cool. That's cool.
Somebody did that yesterday who'd inquired about having me to do their wedding.
Yeah.
And then the person from the venue who was sort of showing around said, what surprise are you looking for? And they went, we've booked our photographer. Yeah. And I was like, it's cool, bro. You're not my client. Like, but then, that's a nice slipper.
Oh, Dennis has brought a slipper.
Yeah. But I was like, I don't mind who you book as long as you're happy. I feel like it was the same with my wedding. I felt so much pressure because I've been in the industry for so long and I've got so many friends to book certain people or whatever. But it was my day.
This is it. Like you say, it is. Obviously, we're never offended. Like, obviously, we would love to shot your wedding, but I know you have got a very different style to what we have, and you know what you like in your photography, which is not us. That is fine. And we were there to celebrate your evening reception, which was brilliant.
To see. Same as like Nick Boyd popped down and I love him. I absolutely love him. I invited sort of everybody I know in the community because I wanted them to just pop down and have a night off.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come, which I really wanted to.
But like I just wanted people who could come down to come and have a night off, that's why who I went for. I didn't have that really close element of if they don't do a job that I'm happy with. Imagine falling out with somebody because I didn't have a makeup artist for lots of reasons. But I just thought, I know so many of them, I don't want to offend anybody. And when I was in Vegas and I did my own makeup, I was really happy with it. And I thought I'd rather know that, I don't want to offend anybody, hairdresser-wise. I think a couple of people were like,
yeah, why haven't you put me? Why haven't you put me?
Yeah,
that's fine.
You've got to have your own day.
This is it. There was just a point there you were just saying, and I can't think what you just said now. What did you just say? I've just gone.
It's your day.
It is your day. It is your day. And regardless, we have people that have turned around and gone, our parents are sourcing out a photographer. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they know what you want?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And it's that if you have got a friend that's shooting your wedding, having a friendship is amazing, but like you say, if things don't go wrong, right, and it's really, really hard to then have that friendship and then that business head on as well, and that's the hardest.
It's hard.
That is the hardest. So as a couple that if you're booking a friend, which is fantastic, that honestly completely up to you. If they don't do a job that you expect them to do, is that going to have a strain on your relationship? We've had ones where you've gone, my uncle's a photographer, he's going to do it. That's fantastic. But
doesn't he want to have a drink
does
at the
he
bar?
want to have a drink at the bar? And like I say, before you know it, he's talking to a member of the family that he hasn't seen for, blah, 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 blah. 10 minutes has gone by and something else you've just missed it and it's completely.
I'm going to use this as an example because I'm sure we won't mind. My really close friends, Steve and Steph, you know Steve, the mobile DJ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's well renowned everywhere because he's brilliant, but he's ace. He's such a character. But him and Steph, we've been friends for a long time. I offered them as a gift, to do their wedding photography. Same as he did all my evening entertainment, and he did the sound for the ceremony, etc., etc. So we all work on that basis, don't we? We'll help each other out.
Completely.
I really, really, really wanted to enjoy their day, and I really wanted to immerse myself in it and, have a couple of drinks, and my little one was there and my other half was coming in the evening. I really wanted to do it. But when it came to the day, I went, no, I want to smash this for them. Yeah. I want to give them the best possible album that I possibly can, regardless of the fact it's boiling hot and they're all in three-piece
I was with you on that day.
Yeah,
exactly. It was really, really hot.
And I had to step back, and I really didn't mind doing it because I'm glad of how it went. I had to step back and go, I want to kill today for you, and I want to do an amazing job. And I didn't stay as late as I wanted to, and I didn't have a drink and stuff like that, and I missed a lot of the party because that's when I had 10 minutes out and we went and had some food and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was such an amazing day, and they enjoyed it. They loved every element of it. And I've looked back and gone, do you know what? If I'd have stepped back a little bit and spent more time with my little boy or whatever, or just decided to go and have a drink and a wander, I wouldn't have got that.
It's not, obviously we would have not got it.
Yeah.
They would not.
They wouldn't have got it.
They wouldn't have had it.
Because we went out in that field, didn't we? When the sun was setting.
Yeah. I had a close eye on that sunset.
Yeah.
Because the last time I went to the venue, the Rochester before, I went in that field. It looked brilliant.
Yeah.
And just as that sun came down, I looked. I was like, "No, we need to go now."
How perfect was it?
So I ran in, grabbed you, and said, "Yeah, sunset is happening now." And they were straight out with us, and it was amazing.
They loved it, didn't they? They
beautiful.
laughed and they joked. And Steph's big thing was, "I want Steve to smile." He smiled. God,
did
he smile?
And this is it. You've got to put your trust in your photographer, because, like I say, we do this day in, day out. So we've had clients that have turned around and gone, "I'm not too sure about that." Trust us, it's going to be amazing. Just trust us, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. We've had a bride out in a field, literally mud everywhere, and we've just said, "Look, can we just take you in that field? It's going to be an amazing shot." Yeah. And they've gone, "Yeah, not a problem." Yeah. Like Friday, they were out in the rain.
Yeah.
Had an amazing shot. Yeah. Check out our Facebook and Instagram. It'll be on there in a couple of days. Have a look at those, and yes, you're going to get wet for all of about a minute, maybe 2 minutes.
Embrace it.
Just embrace it, because this is what we're doing, and we know that epic shots. That
but imagine if they'd have had a family friend to do that wedding. That family friend would have said, "Oh, I wouldn't be going to have a drink with my partner and my kids and sitting around seeing our friends and family."
Because they don't want to go out in the rain.
They wouldn't have noticed the rain. They wouldn't have thought that's a great
sunset
opportunity.
And gone, actually, I need them out now, because if that sun goes any lower behind those clouds, what I'm seeing coming in, it's gone.
It's gone. See, so if me and you had decided at Steve and Steph's to play the friend card more so than the professional card, I genuinely don't think a good chunk of your video and a good chunk of my photos would have happened, because the two of us had been too busy talking to people from the venue that we're pals
having
with.
A drink.
You obviously turned up in the evening. We could have all just been stood chatting to you, but we did first dance. You went, "Now's the time to do it." So we went, "Go on then, let's go and do it." And like the little bit in that the yurt, that was Steve's idea, because he's in the industry.
Got all the dry ice and
again,
amazing.
This is why I say, if clients have got an idea of what they like in their photography, then say, give us some hints. So we love this, we love this, we love this.
Yeah.
So we always kind of like to end a podcast every week with a top tip, but considering we've actually got two photographers here today,
tips and apps.
We can probably both of you can give one to people.
Advice.
The most best bit of advice you give to someone.
Research.
Media planning.
Yeah, 100%.
Research. Look at styles.
Yeah. Use Bridebook, Hitched. Are there any others now? Probably not. Bridebook and Hitched. Put a request up in a local Facebook group, maybe. Just say, "Do you recommend anyone?" But then it's a bit of a vague, broad spectrum. It's
really, really hard then, because, like you say, you'll get 100 photographers.
Yeah.
Some are professional, some are absolutely amazing. Someone's
auntie's dog's best friend who's taking a picture of a flower, and therefore they're amazing. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
I would say,
I think recommendations.
Yeah.
Ask family and friends.
Yeah.
Any of your friends that have used that photographer and things like that. Ask your venue.
100%. And then once you've got that, ask them for full galleries. I wouldn't do anything without a full gallery being
full
seen.
galleries. Meet them.
Yeah,
definitely meet them.
And if you don't get a good vibe off them,
don't go on price. Just price alone. Don't go price alone. Just say, I've got my budget's 1,500 or whatever, and go, okay, because you may meet a photographer that just fits absolutely everything. You think it's £200 over budget. Am I going to move away from my my ideal because you're not in that 1,500 quid? Can I stretch that a little bit more?
What can I cut back on?
What can you cut back on? Again, because these are the only things that you have got to last your lifetime. This is your legacy, I always say.
If you're spending £600 on a car for 30 minutes, maybe consider what you're doing there. Having a car is lovely, but you're going to need a videographer or photographer to capture that, otherwise it's gone. We had an Aston Martin for ours, which is through my stepdaughter's other half, and actually there's no video or photo of it because the weather was awful and they just didn't know that it arrived because nobody let them know. So the thing, so if I'd have paid £600 for that, I'd have been fuming because we didn't get it. So can you move your budget over a little bit or have more time? I think there's a lot of people who think, we'll get married in next 6 months. But have you worked out your budget for that 6 months?
Yeah.
What can you save without putting yourself, I hate to use the phrase, but on your arse?
Yeah.
If you're going, I've got to save £500 this month towards the wedding, but you don't have £500 disposable income, spread it out over a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to mind whether you plan it for 6 months' time, 18 months' time, 2 years, a year's time. And if you can get everything you want, get all the prices now, pay your deposits so it's all nailed in.
Book them straight away.
And book them straight away. Particularly
this is it.
Photographers, videographers, and I'd notice hair and makeup now as well. You need to get those things booked in. Your registrar, you need to get your time booked in because the amount of couples I've had who've gone, we wanted a 3 p.m. ceremony, but now it's at 11. And that changes your whole spectrum of your day. Hello.
And your cost, because like you say, you have to move into where you might have not only had one wedding breakfast and not an evening, now you need a wedding breakfast and an evening.
And keep them entertained. If you've got a gap between, say you do 11 and then you finished all your photos and everything at 12:30, you've had some canapes, then there's nothing until 3:30, 4. People are going to get very bored, aren't they?
Yeah.
So consider your budget. And
book, see if you find them. Book them.
Yeah.
Because we've spoke to a couple yesterday. They booked us 3 years in advance, literally 3 years in advance, and they went, "I'm so glad because we found you. We wanted to book you."
Yeah, and also price. If you book your photographer, your videographer now, you're getting the price that they quote you now.
Yes.
If you then sit on it for 6 to 12 months and then go, "Hi, remember us? We met you at so and so, and we were going to book them, but we didn't because we just wanted to make our mind up a little bit more, or for whatever reason." Then you go, "I'm really sorry, but it's now an extra £300 or more."
Cost of living's
gone
increased. Up, so everyone's had to put their prices up because of cost of living.
Ours have gone up 15%.
Yeah, and we've just been talking about the cost of lenses before, haven't we?
Yeah.
One singular lens can be anywhere from, say, £600, £700 to £2,000 to £2,500. We don't price ourselves at what we price ourselves because we're taking your money from you, putting it in our back pocket and running away laughing. That's not why we do these things. We've been going a long time. Gallery fees cost for every single client to have a gallery, to have things stored, backed up, the computer equipment we use, everything's like that. So we're not charging you through the roof because we think we earned it.
Because it's got wedding in it.
Yeah, because it's got wedding in it. That's not why we're doing it. It's just what our man hours, our equipment, our insurance. It costs me, for example's sake, £350 a month just to leave the house to go and shoot every month because of all of my overheads for the business and insurances and insurance on insurance and insurance on all my kit. We're not doing it for that reason. So consider your budget, get all your reviews in, ask people for recommendations, speak to your venue, meet us.
Yeah.
If you get a vibe off us, amazing. Go for it. Book in whilst you're there. If you don't get on with us, you don't really like our work, you prefer somebody else's work, then make it work so that you can have that supplier. Yeah. I'd much rather my supplier spend £1,000 more with you guys because they love your work than, say, for example's sake, if I was £1,000 less, pay me and think, I wish we'd had them.
Yeah.
I'd hate it if I knew that was the case.
Yeah. It
would make me feel sad.
We've had that they've gone, you're over our budget, but we absolutely love you.
Yeah.
And they've come with their family friend around a wedding fair and they went, we wanted them, but you need to have them. You need to have them because we never had them.
Yeah.
And we really regret it. And that's one thing you don't want to regret.
Yeah. I think it's one day I always say you're only supposed to do this once, and I do it with a bit of, like an eye wink.
Yeah.
You are,
You hope to.
Realistically, you hope to only do this once.
So put the money into it that you can without,
going
not
really
paying the bills and,
not.
If your priority in life is going on 4 holidays a year, and then you've got to factor in a wedding and it's going to make you miserable not having those holidays, then consider your options. Have a smaller wedding, have less hours, whatever you do. Just
whatever your budget, like I say, whatever your budget is. Everyone has a budget of £2,000 that you could up to £50,000.
But also have a realistic budget as well. I think that gets lost in the abyss sometimes. Doesn't it? Have a realistic budget for all of your suppliers.
Like, this is why I say, like we say, we don't mind, people getting prices off us and then hearing nothing. If that's all you're doing is getting prices.
Yeah.
Okay, just be very clear. Like we're still in a planning. I'm looking at just prices. Then that's fine, and hopefully you won't get those photographers that will just bombard you completely. I
just thought as well, managing expectations from both the client perspective and from us. We try to manage your expectations. We try to say, yes, this is possible, and we'll also say to you, I don't think that's going to work. The TikTok trend with going around all the tables,
oh my God,
taking a picture every table to a song. I've had to say to a couple before, I love that you've seen that. I love that you want to do it, but it's not going to work in your venue. They've said, no, it will. Then on the day they've gone in, looked at inside the teepees and gone, we've got 80 people and I can't move from here to there freely.
No.
So we manage your expectations, but also give us realistic expectations from what you want from us.
Yeah.
It's all about that, isn't it? You don't send us pictures of a sunny beach wedding or a sunny field
if you're getting married in December
and you're getting married at a barn that's in the middle of nowhere in winter. Like we're here for you. Get a Pinterest going. See what you're pulling together, and if you find that all your photos are quite airy-fairy and very light, then go for a photographer who matches that. If you're finding that all these Pinterest photos that you're saving, it's very true to life, it's very, you've got like using flash to create beautiful imagery, getting the background and everything in focus. I don't know the way to describe it, but if you're finding that you've got a flow of things that you like, then that's maybe a good way to book a supplier, is by seeing that they match your vision.
Yeah.
It's the same with if you're booking a makeup artist and you want full glam and all of their photos are very bright or very natural, then I'm sure they'd be able to do that makeup for you. But without a trial, you're not going to know whether 100% whether that's the makeup artist for you. The difference with
we have our skills. We have our skills in what we do. You have your style. That's you.
Yeah.
We have our style. That's us.
I couldn't second shoot for you guys without knowing a little bit more about how you shoot with your lighting, for example's sake.
Yeah.
And I've known from having second shooters that they don't shoot the same way as I do, as I probably haven't. I've only second shot twice, but I know that I'm not exactly the same style as them.
No.
So that's it, isn't it? You find your style. You spend a couple of weeks, months looking at it. Go and meet us all. Have realistic expectations about your budget and what kind of imagery you want. And trust us and enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It can be very daunting being in front of a camera, can't it? That's why if you can get a pre-shoot, brilliant.
Yeah.
This is my biggest tip in the whole world ever, and I say it to all of my clients now, have 2, if you can do more, 2 months off from using filters.
Yeah.
And they always go, why? And I'll say, because you take an image from here, pointing down on a forward-facing phone, which is already blurred, like it makes your skin look a bit clearer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then you're sticking filters on it, and then somebody, us, has got to create imagery of you, which is very true to life, and you might have a bit of a shock when your face isn't, and your eyes are like this, and your makeup's not immaculate because you've got normal skin like any normal person.
Yeah.
Please, just I think it's
we've had one. They've gone, I love them, but it's just not. And I've gone, show me a photo on your phone that you love,
you like of
and
you,
she's gone, it's a selfie. It's from that angle. I said, we cannot shoot every photo
from up there.
That angle. We can't. So again, it is a case of There is photographers that will highly edit. You. We are the types of, you are you. This is why he loves you and you love him.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm not changing that. I'm not changing that. And you have that joke, oh, he make me 3 stone lighter, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like I say, again, just be true to you.
I'd much rather, hopefully when I do have grandkids, I'd love them to look back at pictures of me and recognise me.
Yeah.
And my other thing is if one of these, 16 to 18-year-olds goes missing and they have no photos on them without a filter on, you're never going to recognise them.
No.
They're going to be putting photos on that have this business and like with a different tone over and their hair looks a different colour. It's a bit of a shock when you first see yourself photographed, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
Unless you've got a great photographer who knows angles as well. Everybody has hang-ups. I always ask my couples, like, is there anything you don't like about yourself? Like, I'm not being rude. I'm not being rude at all.
Yeah, totally.
But
Everybody has their insecurities,
everybody has it,
so you need to understand them.
Exactly. And some brides will go, can I stand on the right because I don't like my left side? And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course you can, pal. Go for it.
Can I hold my arms because I don't like my chubby arms, and or we've had men. I've got a bit of I feel like I'm going bald. Really?
It's so true, isn't it?
Don't be silly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think So
and
you
they
go,
get really.
fine.
My other
we
half.
know that.
My other half. I know he won't mind me saying this. He's bitten his nails for years and years and years to the point that they've not been there. And his big hang up when we were in Vegas with the photographer was, please don't put my hands in it, so I had to cover his kind of thing. But over here we got his nails done by my nail lady, so things like that, if we know about that, we'll know not to go straight in and do things that make you feel uncomfortable. But you've got to remember that you are a human being. We've all got skin flaws, and you know, our hair doesn't sit perfect even though you spent hours having it done and stuff. Hello.
Henry's now attacking Abby.
We're not having kisses. We're not having kisses right now.
Good mum.
I think if you can look, I've always
Good
been.
boy.
Obviously, I'm a girl. We always have hang-ups about ourselves, don't we? I wish I'd lost a bit of weight before my wedding. I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. Every photo that I saw from Vegas, I went, I love it because look how happy I look.
This is it.
And I said it to couples all the time, when you see how happy you are on the day, you won't care that your arm looks, a bit like that or whatever. And they'll say to me, don't make sure that I don't do this pose. Make sure I don't do that. And I'm like, you'll look.
I've got a big nose. Right, no side profile.
And then you look back.
Like
do you look back at photos of you from 20 years ago and go, oh my God, and I complained about this, and I complained about that?
Yeah. I look back and go, I said I was fat then.
This is me and my mum all the time.
But I wasn't, and now I'm larger, and you think, okay.
Yeah.
And I complained I'm fat there. 10 years' time,
mental,
20 years' time, you're not going to look back and go, oh my God, look at that.
Look
What you're going to look at is go, oh my God, my husband. And you look at your other half and go, oh my God, I've got so many photos of James that he's just beaming, and I love that smile and things like that, and that memory behind it, that we did this, this. And
just something else has popped into my head. You don't know who's not going to be with you in a week's time, do you, really? Let's be honest. Let alone 2 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
Us as photographers, we spend our entire day with you, not drinking, not joking around with everybody, not running to the toilet every 2 minutes, not going to get stuff from our car. We spend our entire day with you, making sure we've captured everything for you so you can look back on it. And that also goes to the point of, I don't know if you do it, but I do it. I try to make sure I get a picture of everybody, whether it's natural or...
Yeah.
Because...
Especially key people.
Moments.
We had one the other week, and he's turned around and gone, can you make sure you get my granddad Norman? Not a problem.
And we don't need to
turn around, and obviously we would always do that anyway, or there's an emphasis on a certain person.
Yes.
Can you please make sure you get them? And we will definitely do that.
I did it with our photos.
But like you say, again, it is, we don't know, in 10 years' time, are they going to be there?
I've been at a wedding before. I was stood just waiting for first dance to happen. I think we had about 5 minutes spare before first dance. And I had a client from 2 weeks before message me saying, really sorry to bother you. And I know you won't have edited the photos yet, but we've just lost my dad today, completely out of the blue. Is there any chance?
Yeah.
I'd edited them all and they're all on a gallery. I downloaded loads so I could ping them to her straight away through a Facebook message, and I sent her the gallery, and I said, obviously I would prefer to have presented this in a bit more of a lovely way, but here they are for you, pal. But I knew her dad wasn't old by any means, and he wasn't poorly.
No.
But
just unexpected things happen.
I watch people, you watch people, we people watch all day for a living. It's a great job, cank complain, particularly when there's a sweetheart. But we watch moments with people and we go, I need to get that. Like, that's why I'm here. That's why I've got a camera in my hand at all these times. So trust us to do that bit as well. And definitely tell us. But the seasoned professional photographer or videographer will do these things for you without you realising. A lot of clients will go, oh, have you got the room set up? Yeah, like, I did that an hour ago. And they go, you were gone. So it's things like that. With somebody who's new to it, give them a chance by all means, but maybe have somebody just to buffer the important parts as well. So you've definitely got that. So consider budget. Yeah. Consider it if you get on with the person. Do your research. And then I think try and enjoy it, because it can be overwhelming.
Definitely.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
Obviously, we will tag all of Abby's kind of social links and website in the description. But no, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you all in the next one.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to the JOL Wedding Podcast. Share this podcast with anyone you know who's on the journey of planning a wedding. Check out other episodes of this podcast as well as links to our social media platforms at the JOL Wedding Podcast.